Fields Creative with Désiré, the Brand Maverick. Before we get into it, I just wanted to thank you for following me into this tilted rabbit hole where we learn about the entrepreneur journey and all the magnificent and terrifying things that come with it. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to increase your brand exposure, network internationally, and gain insights, then follow the breadcrumbs in the show notes to my site where you can find everything you need to start your business, grow your brand, and accelerate your income today. I even have a live show every Monday that you can attend. It's free brand awareness and exposure, and you get to meet some really cool people on the show. It's such incredible value, and you don't have to pay a penny for it. Now it's time. Let's jump straight into the rabbit hole.
Thank you so much for coming on the Entrepreneur Spotlight today. It is absolutely amazing to have you here. Just for those now tuning in, do you want to give them your name, the name of your company, and a little bit about what you do?
Sure. My name's Gareth Martindale. I am the founder and CEO of Sherbet Lemon, and we are a full-service creative agency based in sunny Blackpool in the UK, and we have recently opened a studio in Dubai.
Oh my God, you just opened a studio in Dubai.
Yes.
How cool is that?
It's very cool. It's very cool. It's a lot of hard work, but it's extremely exciting.
Oh my God, I'm excited for you. I'm like, oh my God, you're opening in like Dubai. That is I mean, you're London based, you're Dubai based. What is the next one? Paris or New York?
I think we'll leave it at that for now. I don't think I could cope with any more locations. I don't want to spread myself too thin. But yeah, so we're based in the UK. I'm based in Dubai, and that was an interesting one because it wasn't necessarily planned to open out there. We've been established here for 13 years. But last year, a couple of our clients were moving out, and we helped them with their marketing and their branding to move them to a UAE market. And then when they did, they decided that they wanted to have an agency out there because they needed someone locally to film and have meetings and things. So then we were like, we don't want to lose you. So it made more sense for us to sort of set up a base out there, and it's opened a whole new world to us. And it's
now you've literally got the whole of the Middle East like right there.
Exactly, and it's a wonderful place to be. Very exciting. Always lots of things going around, and the whole atmosphere there. It's just electric. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, no, I loved Dubai when I went because I spent a month out there with my sister-in-law, and it was just, I think it was actually too much for me because I come from a very laid-back country. I grew up in the Caribbean, so the Caribbean is the polar opposite of Dubai. You could not get more opposites. So like there, because even London for me feels like very rush. Whereas Dubai was just like, oh my God, roller coaster, please slow down. Like we were going to like 3 and 4 places a day, and I was like, oh my God, I can't handle these costume changes. Like, can we please slow down? Can I just have a day off? Like I need to sleep. I need to just be indoors and just not do anything. Like, where are the rainy days here? We don't have rainy days here. Like
there's no slowing down there. There really isn't. Whenever we go down to, like, I've just come back from a trip because we're just setting up the office out there, and it's just non-stop. The only sleep you're getting is on the plane on the way home, or trying to catch a few minutes in the Uber. But yeah, it's a wonderful place to be a part of.
Oh my God, that is amazing. So you said you've been in business for 13 years, right?
Yes.
So what has that been like for you for the last 13 years?
It's a roller coaster. Having your own business is an absolute roller coaster. So prior to setting up the agency, I'm a trained graphic designer. So that's what I went to uni to do, and then left uni in 2004. worked in and out of design agencies, and then 2009, I think it was, I started teaching on graphic design courses at our local university. And then in 2010, I decided to go alone and be a freelance designer, and I built up so many cool connections through agencies and through the college, that it just seemed like a natural step for me to go out on my own. And then that was fun. And if anyone has ever been a freelance designer, it really, well, freelance anything really, it's ups and downs. It's crazy. It's the best job in the world. It can be the worst, stressful. You name it. It's all over the place. And then about 2016, the clients got a little bit bigger. Projects got a little bit bigger, and I needed help. So rather than pass on the work, I just spoke to my freelance friends, and we sort of teamed up, and that's how Sherbet Lemon sort of turned into an agency. It's organically grown. Yeah, it wasn't really a plan to grow. I always wanted to, be a freelancer and do my own thing, but to actually grow into something with working with really cool people, friends, and working with some great clients, it's been a heck of a journey.
So what made you kind of strike out and just kind of go on your own? What was that turning point for you? What was that like?
I think it's a good question. I think there was a few things at the time. I'd worked in and out of agencies, and I'd been teaching, and I could see things I liked, and I could see things I didn't like, and I really just wanted to work with people that made me feel good. I know it sounds quite corny, but I'd been in agencies where it had been a crazy amount of stress, and maybe not liked a few of the people that were there, and their ways of working. And this was sort of back in early 2000s, and sort of things like mental health wasn't really discussed. And they'll push down on you and just want you to work flat out, and for very little reward. So by going out, I wanted to work on projects that I truly believed in, clients that I truly believed in, and that was really the starting point of it. And then it's going with my gut. That's what's helped. I always find if I go with that, things work out well. If I go against it, it just doesn't. So that was the main reason, really.
I think that's really an important reason as well, because people don't realize how stressful working in advertising actually is, and how toxic that entire industry can be. I mean, it is just absolutely grueling. And then you've got sales directors who are making promises to clients that, oh yes, we will have it to you by tomorrow. I'm sorry, what? And then you as a designer, or whoever's working on the art team, now needs to stay in late. And sometimes that could be until 3 a.m. And then you're expected to be back there bright and early at 9 a.m. Yeah. I know life very well. It's
lots of promises made on your behalf is what happens, and you're the one that sort of has to pick up the pieces and sort of move ahead and go with it, while the sales team and can sort of just get on about the day. But that sort of atmosphere just really wasn't what I was about. And again, with being a freelancer, I had the benefit of being able to work with my own clients as well as working for other agencies, which was really nice. And I think what that did was sort of give me a sort of a passion for working directly with a client.
Yeah.
Whereas prior to that, I was working through like account managers and creative directors and things like that. But to be able to speak directly to the client and find out what problem we're trying to solve, rather than just being given a design brief, sort of passed down the line, was really, really nice. And you could see the impact that some strong branding or a piece of design was having on that person's business. So that
How
was
good
really
is
nice.
it when you can now speak directly to a client and they go, this has completely changed everything for me? Like, because when you work in an agency, you don't get that. You don't get that tactile response. But when you're a freelancer and you work with a client directly, and you're able to kind of almost draw out of them what it is that they really, really want, and then give it to them, and they're like, wow. And and that's a reflection on what you do. So then, it really is like a feel good thing at that point, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. And I think I love all parts of that process. So the whole journey from meeting a client to the very end piece, I love all aspects of it, even now, where you start having those conversations to begin with, and like quite often, we'll have someone coming to us and say, "Oh, I need a logo, or I need a website," and
Yeah.
okay, that's great, but what are we trying to solve here? I don't just want to give you a logo or website. What are we trying to achieve? And then come up with a creative solution for that that's really going to work. And then when you start asking questions, I mean, I always love it when you start asking questions that they've never really thought about before.
No.
Like, what's your brand's tone of voice? And you just see them go, what? And you start digging in, and then afterwards, it's like they've had a brand therapy session. They feel that they have more understanding of their own business than they ever have before.
I know.
And
It's
that
just
that's
it's
really
so I just think that part of the process for me is the reason why I do this, because it's just that's the thing that excites me the most about branding, especially branding for, like, especially like entrepreneurs and small businesses, because my God, like, they're the ones that need it the most, not necessarily the big companies, because the big companies don't really, I mean, they're big and they still do need to stay relevant, but it's the small companies that really, really, really desperately need this kind of support. And they're the ones that don't get it because they can't afford it. And it's like a whole, chicken before the egg kind of scenario. Or, it's just absolutely awful sometimes. But that is the reason why I get up, is just for those phone calls, for those sessions, those, those consultations. It's absolutely everything on my end. It's so good to actually speak to another creative who actually gets it.
Oh, totally, totally. And you use the word there, support, which I think is such an important part of it, that they do feel supported. And what they would get from you, they would never get from, say, a logo on Fiverr or whatever. It's that support, it's that understanding, and it's that experience that they feel supported and secure through that journey. Because I mean, I've always been a creative, but putting myself in their shoes of starting a business and what that takes for an individual to go out on their own, that's a lot. That is a lot to take on your shoulders. And if you can find someone like yourself who's helping them through that journey, it means a lot. And they're the clients that you grow with, and they grow with you. And we've got clients now from when I set up in 2010, that they were just a small one-person startup, and now they're a large client that we've stuck with ever since, because that's what that relationship means. It means there's a trust there, and there's a real bond there as they're growing through something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm going to ask you this magical question. Brace yourself.
Okay.
How long have you spent, or how much time do you spend working on your business and not in your business?
That is a great question. And if you would have asked me a few years ago, you would have had a totally different answer. So I spend, I don't know if I can put a percentage on it, but I spend a decent amount of time on the business now. Whereas I was fully involved with client work initially. I understood, I was always told, look, you need to spend time on your business to grow. But then when there's client deadlines in place, it's a whole juggling act. And what I've found is, and it's not easy, I've just had to surround myself with the right people that are going to help with that process, because you can't do it all is the answer. And I always thought that being a trained creative, and that's what I would do, that I would bring someone else in to help grow the business. Whereas in fact, it's the other way around. You know, I brought in team members to help with the design and things like that. And then my passion for the business, that's what I try and focus most of my time on now. So I would probably say, if I was to put a figure on it, let's try and put a figure on it, because that's always good, isn't it? I would probably say that 70% of my time is focused on the growth of the business now.
Wow, kudos to you.
Thank you. 3 years ago, it would have been the other way around.
Yeah, yeah. As it is, I think for me, for like a very, very, very long time, it was like 90% in, 10% on. And that's just how it was for years on end, because I was just so busy and I was just so like focused on the quality and focused on getting my hands dirty, because I never want to let the creative go, because I'm like, I love that part of it as well. I love the client stuff, but I also love getting my hands dirty. And it's like, I can't give this process up, because I just love it so much. It's like giving away part of me, you know. So I had that problem until I completely burnt out 2 years ago. You know, and now I've completely changed my whole business model. You know, so if I do any creative, it's like tiny amount. You know, I do more of this kind of stuff now than I do actual like creative work, and I do much more consulting, because I get to speak to more people, and that kind of recharges a huge side of me. And I'm like, 'cause I get that very tactile response more and more and more. That's how I figured, you know, my real passion is helping people at the end of the day. It's not necessarily doing the creative. So speaking of passions, what is the one thing that fuels your passion?
The one thing that fuels my passion, wow. I would say it sounds so corny. It is the difference that it makes to people, and I don't just mean from a client side. I think the difference it makes to the team that I work with. It's I truly feel that everyone within the team um, has a real joy for what they do, and we always try and sort of bring that joy to whatever we're working on. So I know it makes a difference for them. If I'm happy, it makes a difference to my family. If if the stuff that we're doing, if the work that we're actually working on has been enjoyable, it becomes very apparent with the final piece of work, whether it's branding, a website, video, whatever it is. And in turn, that makes a difference to the client as well. So it's about making a difference.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely like amazing to hear as well, because I think a lot of people they don't know how to answer that question. A lot of people stumped on that one, because they're like, not sure. Have to get back to me on that. So
I almost said that.
no, you weren't going to get away with that one, trust me.
Oh my God, again.
So if you had unlimited resources, unlimited time, unlimited money, unlimited people, what world problem would you solve?
Wow. What world problem would I solve? That is a tricky one. I don't know if I can answer that one. Can I come
We've
back
got
to
all
that?
of them. We've got lots of world problems. So pick one. If you could fix anything, any one thing, what would you fix in the world?
I suppose. Well, there's so many. I mean, world hunger for me is one of those things that I cannot wrap my head around. Um, uh, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
That's actually also mine, because I think hunger and a lack of education are the two things. I think everybody should have food and everybody should have access to education.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good answer. Good answer. So, if you could do anything, money was no object. You could do anything you wanted, day in and day out. What would be that thing that you'd do?
Again, sounds corny as that. No, in fact, okay, there's a few things. There's a few things I do. I would travel. Love to travel, but I would genuinely want to be doing some form of whether it's helping businesses with support, whether it's going into schools talking about business growth, some form of something tied to education or something tied to support. That's what I would like to do. And I think as the agency grows, I think we're going to be offering more of that, whether it's in schools, colleges, or just workshops, because it really is just good to help people. And if we've got a natural passion for what we do, then why not share it? I mean, somebody asked me if I won the lottery, would I still be doing this? Maybe not doing it exactly the same, but certainly wanting to sort of support businesses or support people in their journeys and their growth. But certainly something to do with being creative, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, I think I'm now starting to ask this very weird question. Are you me? Is like, I'm now starting to think we're along the same lines. I think, if you absolutely, if all my bills were paid, money was no object, I'd do exactly what I'm doing now.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine not doing something with creative or
Yeah.
supporting or helping in some way. I mean, growing up, I always wanted to be an artist. That's all I wanted to be growing up, and a clown. Sorry, I wanted to be a clown as well at one point.
Okay.
But when I was
You
12,
still could be.
still could be. There's still time. I'm
Yeah.
only 40. There's definitely time on my side.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an artist, and when I was 12, we had a substitute art teacher come into the school, and he was a graphic designer. Uh, and I'd never heard of a graphic designer before. I had no idea what one was, and he came in with this massive portfolio. It was like a big A1 portfolio, and he opened it up, and I expected to see life drawings and still life and things like that. And it was like computer game covers and video, that's right, video cassettes, VHS style covers. And I was amazed. I was like, oh my God, is this a
Wow.
thing? You can get a job doing this. And I was hooked, immediately hooked that
That was it. That was your turning point. From
exactly.
clown to graphic designer.
Exactly, clown. Well, you never lose the clown bit, but it was just such a striking memory of the way he opened it up and he went through. And they used to, when they designed these covers, they had them as massive sheets and then they got shrunk down. It was just the coolest thing. And then I think I was very fortunate to know from a young age that that's what I wanted to do, because I know so many people who didn't and still don't, to be fair. They're still on their own journey, but I was very fortunate. So definitely something to do with being creative and helping people.
Awesome. So What has been the hardest thing about entrepreneurship for you?
I think there's so many. There's so many. I think so as a natural creative, um, my mind, although now I'm a lot better at it from a business point of view, sort of facts, figures, that stuff naturally didn't interest me. And to start off as a freelancer, perhaps didn't make the best business decisions. Things like pricing and spending far too long on a job. And I think the big turning point for me was as the team grew and as it wasn't just about me, that, okay, there's certain elements of this business and growth in particular that I need to focus on because I'm the only one who's going to be able to do that. And for us to grow and for people to have jobs and things like that, that I needed to sort of learn and get stuck in with that side. And now that's the side that I really do enjoy. It's all part of the process. The I suppose a difficult lesson that I've learnt has been saying no to certain things. So it's sort of feast or famine a lot of the time where you're growing and you like, man, it's some quiet months. I just need some work through. And then you'll say yes to a job that is so painful that it just exhausts your soul. That is that bad where it takes all your time.
Yep.
Any joy has been taken out.
Yep.
And
it's I call it the job for Hades.
yes, there you go. That's very well put. It saying no to those, it's something that I've had to learn.
That's not something that they teach you anywhere, like not even in business school. And I think that's one of the first things you need to learn. You need to learn the word no, because especially as creatives who are freelancing, because the word no, especially if you can tell from the first call that they're going to be a bit difficult. If they're difficult now, trust me, they are going to be hell to work with later on. And I learned that was a hard lesson for me to learn.
It's so difficult. It's because so for example, we've recently had this where we've been in talks with a client and they go back and forth with the quote and the scope of the project just gets changed. And then scope, yeah, this was certainly a creep. And we got the it went back and forth, and then I came into the sort of negotiation part, and I just said, look, we'll just leave it, because I knew what impact that was going to have on the team, that although they wanted to get over the line, it's not right. It's not right.
Worth it. It's not worth the money.
It's not. And I truly think if you do good work for good people, then that will follow, and that's how it comes through. It's it feels like it's been a very strange year. There's been lots of businesses sort of quitting back, lots of uncertainty. But I feel we're sort of getting through that now, leading into next year. And yeah, it really is important to say no to certain things, because they'll drain you.
Yep. So, what would be your parting gift of wisdom for the audience?
Oh, parting words of wisdom. I would say, so do what you enjoy. And what I mean, again, God, I'm sounding so corny on this thing, but if you do what you enjoy, it really doesn't feel. It's always going to feel like work at some point, but you're going to enjoy the journey. rather than just the end goal. So if you're just focused on a goal and you're not enjoying the process, then you're going to hate it. It's chances are it could fail. Whereas if you enjoy what you're doing, then every part of it you're going to feel like you've gained something. You're going to grow. The whole process is far more enjoyable. Like there's certain things that you have to do, like taxes, accounts, business dev stuff, but it's all part of the journey, and I think that's the thing that people sort of fall down on, is that they don't enjoy that side of it.
Yeah.
Whereas I've been fortunate enough to enjoy the journey.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I think that is such a good gift of wisdom. As long as you're enjoying what you do, it's not as hard, it's not as painful.
Yeah, it's not as painful. I mean, it'll still hurt at times, but at least you're doing what you like. I'd much rather be doing this than
Anything
getting a
else?
proper job.
Could you imagine if we were accountants?
No chance. No chance. Imagine if I had a job as a clown.
You would have fun. You would be a creative clown.
Be a creative clown. Face painting, that'd be my niche.
Yeah. See,
There
you
you
would
go.
you would have probably been a really good clown.
I would have been a good clown.
You would
Yeah.
have been a favorite one, class favorite.
There you go. There you go.
But it has been absolutely amazing having you here today. It's amazing to speak with another creative, especially since we do work in we work in the same industry. We do almost the exact same thing. The only difference between us, that's why I'm asking, you and me, is because you were actually trained as a graphic designer, whereas I kind of fell into graphic design. So I learned the hard way. I had to figure it out on YouTube and press buttons until something did something, and but yeah, I think it's just amazing to speak with another fellow creative and kind of hear almost my own sentiments kind of echoed sometimes, because this journey, especially working as creatives, we do feel a lot, but we can also feel very, very much alone in this journey. So it is very important for us to kind of get out there and kind of share that journey and share that process, so that other people who are coming up in the industry can relate to it as well and go, oh yes, it's definitely there's somebody else who's going through the same awful thing that I'm going through, and I know they came out the other side, so I definitely can.
Definitely. I think that's a very good point. I think as creatives, or certainly as agencies, there can be like this sort of isolation where, for a number of reasons, for agencies it can be, I don't really want to discuss anything with other agencies because they might steal a client, or they might have imposter syndrome and don't really want to talk about it. But I think it really is important to look. We're all creatives. We're all working in this space, and we can all learn from each other as well. And having conversations like this, it can it's like design therapy. You can, if somebody's talking about something they've gone through and you felt that, then all of a sudden it doesn't feel as bad, because okay, maybe that is normal to feel like that, or I'm not the only one who's made mistakes, and will certainly continue to make mistakes, I'm sure of it. But I think it's really good to have conversations like this, especially with other creatives and other entrepreneurs.
It start like a design therapy session.
That could work. That could work. That's a podcast in itself.
Yeah, that would be
You'll get
good. That would be
subscribers.
really good. Well, anyway, it has been absolutely amazing having you here on the Entrepreneur Spotlight today. Details to contact you will be in the show notes. Oh my God, just thank you so much for coming on today and giving us your time and all of your amazing advice as well.
Oh, an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
You can listen to this podcast and many more on tiltnexus.com, which is our free platform for entrepreneurs across the world. See you on the Nexus.